Playing defense in Madden is often an overlooked part of the game, with most players just finding one meta blitz that they will just run over and over, but if that gets beat, they really have no answers. So in this video, I'm going to break down 3 advanced defensive tips that can be used in any defensive scheme you are running and make you much more capable and adaptable on defense. Now, the first tip is going to be audibling between unique plays on defense. Now, this is one of my go-to strategies on defense in Madden, and it is using play calls that have an auto walk down or auto shift of players. So this means once you call the play, these players will automatically walk down into areas of the field that they don't usually line up in other play calls in these formations. And this will allow you to create some crazy blitzing schemes that won't be possible otherwise. But where this gets really crazy is you can start in one of these plays, like this double safety walk down blitz right here, where both your safeties, once you call this, are just going to walk down into the box. But after you do that, now you can audible the other plays in the same formation, and now those auto walk down players are going to stay in that same spot, but it'll change the rest of the play around them. Then to even take this to the next level, you can start one of these auto walk down plays like this double safety blitz, and if you have the same personnel on the field as in another formation, now you can audible between different formations, and these auto walk down players will stay in those same spots, but now you can have access to a whole group of new plays in a new formation, and this is going to unlock a huge variety of play calls for your defense. Okay, so now we're going to break down some clips of me using this kind of start out in one blitz with the auto walk down and then us audibling over to different looks. So right here, we're starting out in the double safety blitz in nickel 2-4, and then we're going to be audibling to a whole nother formation, nickel 2-4-5, and we're going to audible to pinch 0. Because we start out in that double safety blitz, both our safeties are going to walk down in the box. They're going to start up here and they're going to walk down. Then once we audible over to a whole nother formation, these players are still going to stay down. So now our linebackers move, everybody moves, but these safeties do not go back. And now we have a super creative blitz on a look nobody has really played against before. And the blitz absolutely just screams in at the QB. Here's another one. So start in that double safety. We're going to audible at the line. Nickel 2-4-5, we're going to go to pinch 0. This can be used with all the different plays in this formation or in the base nickel 2-4 formation. So here we have the blitz coming in, and then I just get out over the top and just cover that guy with my user. And now here's another version. So here we're starting in dime 1-4, and then we're going to audible to dime 2-3. So when we start out in this dime 1-4 look, our linebacker is going to start down on the line, and our nickel is going to start, or one of our dime backs is going to start down closer to the line as well. Then once again, we can audible over to dime 2-3, or we can stay in dime 1-4. Our guys are going to stay in these same spots. We can change up our look, and now we can really disguise our play call, and we can just get super creative. So here we're just going to have this looping pressure coming in on the QB. Here it is again. So we're starting out in dime 1-4. Our linebacker is going to start on the line. Our dime back is going to start lower, and now we can go to any of these plays in dime 1-4, or if our personnel is set up right, we can also audible to another dime formation. Here we're going over to dime 2-3 will. Now we have 8 different plays we can audible at the line, and these two guys are going to stay in the exact same spot. And now we're going to have this looping pressure coming off the edge right in at the QB, coverage on the back end, and our DB skies up for the pick. Then one more here. So here we're in nickel 3-3 cub, and we're starting out in the play SS blitz 0. What that is going to do, this is going to have an auto walk down of this safety on the right side of the field here. He's going to walk down, and then we can audible to any of the plays in nickel 3-3 cub. So now when we audible over, now this safety is still going to stay down, and this is what our play art is going to look like. So we start out looking in a man defense, or any of these defenses where we have this safety walking down, and now we're bringing the blitz off the other side. So here it is, just bearing down on the QB. And that is how effective this can be, guys. This is how you can create some of the most unique and exciting blitzes, and it is a way to really disguise your coverages, and it is one of my favorite ways to set up my plays in all of Madden. Now, the second tip is going to be turning on baseline for your defense. Now, what baseline align is, it is going to be a preset way that your defense will come out every single time, no matter what formation or call that the offense is in. Your defense is always going to come out in its base aligned look. What it will be is your defense will not adjust to an overload look or a trips look or anything. If it's a 3-4 defense, your 3 defensive linemen, your 4 linebackers will always line up in the same spots. Your 2 safeties will line up back, and your corners will not shade up and line up right over top receivers. They will always stay in the same spot. Now, the reason why I recommend using this a lot is because it is amazing for really heavy blitzing defenses. This is going to allow your blitzes to be way more consistent because your players are always going to line up in the same spot. They're not going to adjust to offensive formation. They will be super consistent with what hole and how they are blitzing. Now, this can also help you disguise your play call because if you're in base align, your players will not be adjusting and moving to match formation. So it's always going to look the same no matter what defensive play call you come out in. All right, now hopping into practice mode here, I'm going to run through a few things in practice mode and just kind of go over base align a little more in depth. Now, how do you even turn base align on? What you do is you press R3 before you call your play, and it'll bring up your coaching adjustments. Now, auto alignment, if you turn that to base, that is how we can turn our base align on. So if you want to play with base align on, that is how you do it. Now, the reason why, like I said, that I really recommend playing baseline is for the blitzing. There's really 2 main things, the blitzing and the disguise. Now, for example, let's come out in this buck slant 3 in nickel 2-4, and we're going to come out against a trips look here. So we'll come out against Y corner. So because my base line is on, all my players, every single time I come out in nickel 2-4, are going to line up in these exact spots. Now, you can actually turn baseline off at the line. What you do is you press triangle and you press over on the left stick. This is going to turn baseline off. Now see how our players rotate? Our nickelback is actually going to widen out. Our linebacker is actually going to move over a few steps. I'm going to baseline back. See how those guys all shift? Our DB overshifted because I went from baseline to no baseline, but see how the defense is actually shifting. Now, what this is going to do is when we first come out in this blitz, let's say we're just going to run this blitz with no baseline. So our guys are always going to line up in the same spot no matter the defensive play call. So let's just run this blitz right here. I don't even know if this blitz is necessarily going to come in. It should come in. We'll see. So right here, we're just going to line up here. These guys are going to loop around. Blitz can come in that way. But now let's run that same blitz without baseline. So now we're going to turn baseline off. Our guy is going to widen. Look at how much more our nickelback widens. And now our linebacker is also wider. So now when we run this blitz, not only is our nickelback having to come in extra 5 to 7 yards, but now because blitzing in Madden is so dependent on where guys line up, what hole they're going to go through, now how this linebacker is going to react is going to totally change also. So what is going to happen here is just not playing with baseline in a blitz heavy scheme is just going to make your blitzes way less consistent, and it is going to make it really unpredictable if they are going to come in every time or if they're not. Now, I do, like I said, recommend baseline. Another reason is because all our plays are going to look identical. That's something we're going to touch on a bit later in the video, but there are times where I don't recommend playing baseline. So I want to touch on the 2 times I really say don't use baseline. So one time you might not want to run baseline is something like this empty. So we're going to call empty right here. And let's say we came out in a 3-4, just cover 3 defense. Now, when we baseline, because we're baselining in this 3-4, our team is going to stay super condensed, right? Our safeties are going to stay back, but our linebackers and everyone are not going to rotate out to match players on the outside. So what can happen when we're doing this type of thing is what people can do is they'll say, okay, they're base aligning. So I can run a quick bubble screen, something quick to the outside like this, drop this outside. And now because everyone is caught inside because of the base align look, now it is going to be really hard to get to the edge. So this is a time where I actually will sometimes not baseline. So I'll just turn baseline on in my coaching adjustments. I'll see this formation. I'll just unbaseline baseline at the line, so triangle and unbaseline. Now my defense is going to look at our linebackers spread out. Everyone spread out to match this defense. Now, if they try that same bubble screen look and I drop it out there, our safety is right there. So if someone is, if you're running a lot of baseline blitzes and stuff, and they are really spreading you out, hitting screens, or just kind of getting to the edge because you are so condensed, turn off baseline then. The other time it can make sense to not baseline is against something like single back wing pair. If someone's trying to run the ball, let's say HB stretch, and same thing, we're going to come out in cover 3 sky. Here they're coming out with a triple tight end look to the wide side, right? And because we're not baselining, our team isn't going to automatically adjust over. So now, we'll see, it might not block well, but in theory, our defense is lining up balance. So equal amount of guys on both sides of the ball. We're not adjusting. So now when they run the ball, if the blocking works out, which it does, we can really outnumber them at that side of the ball. But really simple again, if you see this, all you have to do is go to the line and unbaseline. Now see how our defense shifts over, matches up to that side. Now the triple tight end thing, we don't really have to worry about as much. Now when we try to run the ball, boom, it's going to be way more guys over here on this side of the ball, and now we can stop the run. So those are really the 2 times. If someone tries to spread you out to pass the ball, or if they're overloading one side of the ball to run the ball, that is where I recommend not baseline. Then if you want to take your Madden defense to the next level, you need to check out my website, Scheme Kings. I have 2 full defenses up on the site for Madden 24 with my Georgia Bulldogs match coverage scheme and my new Ravens attacking defense. Now, both these defenses are going to implement everything that we are going over in this video, and they are 2 of the best defensive schemes you will find anywhere in Madden 24. Then also on the site, you can find my 3 full offensive schemes that are out so far for Madden 24 with my NFL spread scheme, my wide zone offense, and my Mount Rushmore scheme. Then you can also get access to my playbooks on Scheme Kings, which are full written breakdowns for my schemes. I believe between Madden 23 and Madden 24, I have about 11 out so far, with my newest being my Ravens attacking defense that is 44 pages long, and it is going to make it so much easier to run each one of my schemes and make them that much more effective. Then I'm also running a sale on my site. You can use code RAVENS at checkout for 50% off your first month, and it is going to run till April 7th. If you want to check out Scheme Kings, it will be linked down in the description below. Then the third tip is going to be running multiple plays that look the same pre-snap. Now, a ton of Madden players are just going to stick with a few defensive play calls, but this makes you so much more predictable, and once someone gets a gauge on your defensive setups, then it is going to be so much easier to attack you. When I'm playing offense, my favorite people to play are people who are just going to run, cover 3, man coverage, and they don't really change up their calls. This makes it so much easier to dial up bombs to attack each one of the coverages they come out in, or it just lets me know before the play even happens how I need to set up my offense to attack them. So having 4 or 5 play calls that look the same pre-snap, but then post-snap you can change the look on the back end, or you can have a blitz coming, is going to make you so much more difficult to attack on defense. Then even to up your ability to disguise your play calls on defense even more, that is where having baseline on is going to help, because now our players in that formation are always going to line up in the same spots and not give our opponent any pre-snap tells. Or if you do our audible trick that we went over in the first tip, now when you're audibling between different plays and your auto walk down players are in the same spot, that is just going to make disguising your defense even that much better. All right, so I wanted to go over a bit of a breakdown here, and this is going to be out of a dime defense that I just posted on YouTube a few weeks ago. So I think having a defense that is going to look identical at the line of scrimmage pre-snap, but giving you a ton of different options, it is by far my favorite way to play defense. Like I've kind of been saying through this video, I think a lot of people get stuck on just having 1 or 2 play calls that they're going to go to, and maybe their really good blitz they have has guys all overloaded on one side and then their coverage doesn't. Now, when I'm playing quarterback, I can get to the line. I see, oh, every time he overloads this side or he brings his user to this spot, now I know the blitz is coming, and when he doesn't do that, I know he's playing coverage. So I really like to have a defense that's going to look almost identical always pre-snap, and then can give me multiple options. So here's going to be at a dime 1-4 and dime 2-3. We're using our trick where we start with a play that has an auto walk down. So in this dime play we're starting out in, this linebacker walks down automatically here, and then our dime backer automatically walks down closer on the line. So now whenever we call one of these plays in dime, it is always going to look like this pre-snap. So here I'm not breaking down how to do the setup or anything. I just want you guys to see. So here's one defensive look right here, and this is a 0-man blitz. So everybody's coming one-on-ones across the board, but look at how it looks pre-snap, right? So exactly like that. Two safeties back, and look at that. We get a screaming blitz coming in. Here it is again. So dime back down here. We have two safeties high, nickel over here, and this left backer down on the line. Same thing. This blitz is just going to scream in, one-on-one coverage on the back end. That's the other part about this. It's not just blitzes. Having everything look the same is going to change up the coverage on the back end, so they don't know, are we running man, zone, cover 4, match, blitzing, coverage? They have no idea, and we just step in front for a pick right there. Okay, here's another play. So this is out of the same look. So what do we have? We have both safeties back. This is out of our dime 1-4, dime 2-3 defense. We have a linebacker down on the line. Here it's just flipped, but one linebacker down on the line, and then the opposite dime back is down closer as well. So it looks identical pre-snap, but now instead of having a 0-man look, we have a blitz coming off the left edge here with zone on the back end, cover 3. And we see blitz just comes in at the QB, no man coverage on the back end. This is a cover 3 defense. Here it is going to be again. So exact same opponent, same thing. Linebacker down here, dime backer down closer to the line right here. Two safeties back, completely changing up the look. You know, not our full out man blitz. Same look pre-snap though. And we have our cover 3 blitz. Okay. Now, same exact look. This looks identical pre-snap. We have both safeties back. We have one linebacker in. We have one linebacker back. We have one of our dime backs further back from the line, and we have the other one closer. It looks identical as the cover 3, as the 0-man blitz, but now we have a cover 2 all-out blitz. So now we have a different version of the zone that we can throw at this guy. So it's going to be the same thing. Now we have an all-out pressure, boom, multiple edge rushers coming in free with a cover 2 defense behind it. And it works the same with the coverage. Here it is. This guy's closer, two safeties back. This guy's further back, one linebacker back, one linebacker closer. Identical pre-snap, and boom, we have our full all-out cover 2 pressure. I see this vertical route with my user, and I just step in front, make a play on the ball. Okay, and then we have one more, look out of that same exact setup, guys. So here it is. Now we have a match coverage look where we have both safeties back. One of our DBs is further back. One of our dime backers is closer. Linebacker back, other linebacker up close, because we're setting it up to look exact same. So now just what I've shown you here, and I have so many more plays out of this look, but this is just what I'm showing here. We showed you a 0-man pressure, a cover 3 pressure, a cover 2 pressure, and now an all-out match coverage that look identical pre-snap. So now your opponent is going to have no pre-snap tells. You can rotate and cycle through your plays without him having any idea. And here we just have a match coverage. He just tries to get out of the pocket. There is absolutely nothing there. And we just have so we've been bringing him a ton of pressure. Now we have a full out coverage look on the back end. And this just leads to a hit in on the QB and an incompletion. So implementing all 3 of these tips in your defense is going to make you so much more effective. And if you want a full defensive scheme that already has all of these elements built into it, then you definitely need to check out my full Ravens attacking defensive scheme, and you can watch that right here.